Welcome to Module 5 Master Your Energy. Lead with energy, act with clarity, and thrive with purpose. Let's kick in. So, in moments of pressure, it's not strategy alone that defines your leadership, it's your state. The way you show up energetically determines how clearly you think, how wisely you decide, and how effectively you communicate. So it's clearly important to use certain techniques to make sure that when we lose clarity or when we lose it altogether, that there are things we can do to kind of go back to concentration, to go back to our thinking mode and be help for other people because we're clear in our mind. So, neuroscience tells us when stress takes over, your amygdala hijacks your brain. You lose access to logic, your prefrontal cortex, and thus to empathy and problem solving. In other words, you can't regulate your energy, you can't fully access your leadership capacity. We already talked about that during the difficult conversation piece, or because it's your reptilian brain taking over. So it's really important to understand we don't just have energy, we are energy. And that's what we transmit to other people. So every interaction, every meeting, every conversation, we broadcast signals, positive, neutral, or negative. And like a magnet, you attract more of the same energy. So when you show up grounded and clear and you diffuse good energy, so this good energy ripples outward. When you're drained and reactive, that mood is contagious too. Unfortunately, it shapes the tone of your team meeting, yeah, or your team people that you discuss with, or with your family at home. Neuroscience explains why. Your internal state, stress or calm, activates specific brain systems that either open up logic and empathy, or they shut them down. And I like to refer to Joe Dispenza, who says there is really no good reason to stay in a bad mood any day of your life because you can learn to regulate your energy. And that's what we want to do. I want to demonstrate, I want to share 10 different strategies um, because most leaders optimize their calendars and their strategies and their systems, but they neglect their own internal systems that powers all of it, their nervous system. So let's have a look at the 10 different strategies that we want to touch on. So morning ritual, gratitude, focus audit, breath work, nature walks, music, a phone-free hour, movement like sports, and meditation. So the idea is that you choose three practices for this week. Use the energy manual tracker to notice what shifts for you with your energy and share your favorite discovery with our next cohort, which is soon, which is soon. So practice in between because your leadership, so in your leadership, your state is your edge, is your strategy. So your state is your strategy. It's important to be full of energy. And here are plenty of tools that will help you. First one is the morning centered ritual. Why is that? Because a lot of leaders start their morning ritual with their telephone, scrolling the last emails from people who sent something last night at 10 o'clock, or looking at the news, and usually they are bad news. So start their day by reacting with emails, messages, and pressure. But if we take even just 3 to 10 minutes every morning to breathe, pause, and set an intention, we activate the part of our brain that leads with clarity and calm. It sets the tone for the day, your objectives for the day, your behavior for the day. You start your morning. So, how you start your morning shapes everything that follows. Two, gratitude. We already talked about it. When you're under pressure, the mind tends to scan for threats. Gratitude interrupts that cycle and shifts your emotional state very powerful in a short time. So it's not about toxic positivity. It's about choosing what you want to grow, what you want more of. And appreciation is what you get, and appreciation is what switches your energy switch immediately. Focus audit. So energy leaks don't always come from big things. Sometimes they come from small unconscious distractions or small habits. So the focus audit helps you identify where your attention is being pulled, where whether it's people, platforms, internal patterns, yeah, so habits, as I said. So awareness is the first step to reclaim your focus and realize where where is the drain. So therefore in your workbook on page 17 you got a form that helps you to do that audit. Breathwork is very famous. Thank it over the last 2 years, it became very popular. Your breath is the fastest, most effective tool you already have to reset your nervous system. So I suggest just a simple one: inhale for 3, hold for 4, exhale for 5. So I can demonstrate that just very quickly. So that's a short exercise just for 2 minutes, and it can move you from overwhelm to clarity. Only 2 minutes. Yeah, you close the door, do that for 2 minutes, and you have a reset. There are endless breathing techniques. One of the most famous breathwork expert is called Dan Brule. It's an American, and you find lots of his exercises to kind of boost your energy up, to kind of be full of energy, or kind of to calm you down. So there's many different energy techniques that you can learn from Dan Brule. Stepping outside is like a natural reboot for your brain. Yeah, when we pair movement with breath in nature, we down regulate the stress and tap into deeper creativity. We absorb the positive frequency from the nature around us, from the trees, from the leaves, from everything that's in nature. Nature doesn't rush, and yet everything gets done. And just a short walk around the car park can help you to reset. Music, that's something I neglected completely over the last few years. And I just reconnected with music in Joe Dispenza's retreat earlier this year. And I realized how the energy of the room shifted for 8,000 people. The right music can shift your emotional state under 60 seconds, just one song. It taps into memory, rhythm, and emotions without needing words. So ask yourself, which soundtrack do you need to lead well today? In the morning, when you get up, in your car, when you're driving to work, or when you come back from work, or just with breakfast, yeah, whatever works for yourself. Phone free hour, that's something that's worthwhile trying. Just a 1 hour per day, because constant notifications fragment our mind and raise our baseline stress. A simple phone free hour once a day, maybe with the whole family, can restore presence, attention, and gives you a sense of control over your energy. Movement. I think you read lots about this subject. We don't need to go into depth. When your body moves, your mood and mind follow, whether it's walking, dancing, a stretch training, or when it's yoga together with breath work, or Pilates. Movement shifts stuck energy in your body and builds resilience for leadership under pressure. Just find the movement that resonates with you. Yeah, otherwise it won't become a habit. So 30 to 45 minutes. It's also good for cancer prevention. 30 minutes a day will help prevent cancer. So, number nine, relationship. That's something I learned preparing this module. In a high performance world, we often forget the healing power of connection. A supportive relationship or even a caring touch can regulate your nervous system more than any strategy ever could. So, we lead better when we feel safe and seen, and pets form part of it. Yeah, pets at home are an active part of healing and finding back to your calm, combining that with a nature walk. So it's really important to have solid relationships in your life that you can rely on, and maybe get rid of some more toxic, draining relationships. So it's also good from time to time to making an audit. What are the relationships that are good for your energy? Number 10, meditation, one of my favorite. Yes, it's not as quick as the other techniques, but it's profound. So meditation is not about emptying your mind, it's about learning to direct your attention with intention. It's about focus, calm. For busy leaders, it's a training ground for focus, calm, and clarity under pressure. Just 5 minutes a day helps your brain recover from constant decision fatigue so you can lead from presence rather than from reactivity. So I do meditations usually first thing in the morning. And usually I do longer ones, like at least half an hour, to set my focus for the day, set my intention for the day, and that makes me like the lighthouse during the storm. It really has helped me to get to resilience for difficult situations. It really makes a difference. So whoever you do meditation with, I have a meditation list with Joe Dispenza, but I also follow other people, and you will find a list of ideas that you can try out in the library that I share with you. Yeah, so that's it. Design your energy ritual. It's really important that you find what works for you. That's why it's important that you pick like boosters this week. You try out and monitor what does it do for your energy. But really, you would need to hang in for at least 3 months. Yeah, make it a habit. Otherwise, it's too early to judge. But at least it needs to resonate. You need to like it. Otherwise, it won't work. So choose three boosters for the upcoming week, monitoring with a tracker. That's also in the Notion as a form, and make sure you take note of what works for you and what doesn't, and then we can discuss it in our next cohort. I look forward to it. So you don't rise by pushing harder, you rise by aligning deeper. That's the idea of all those techniques. I look forward exchanging with you on all of your results and look forward to the discussion in our next cohort.